Aside from blocking Philippine ships, the armed forces suspects China of harvesting corals in some parts of the West Philippine Sea. Some groups call for the resignation of key government officials for supposedly favoring rice importers over local farmers. And the prices of fuel products are seen to increase again for the 11th consecutive week. By how much? Let's find out later in the program. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. We begin the newscast with the Armed Forces Western Command reporting a massive coral harvesting in the Rosal Reef in the West Philippine Sea. In a forum, Westcom Commander Vice Admiral Alberto Carlos said they suspect that China is behind the action. Carlos noted that a number of Chinese maritime militia vessels had swarmed the area back in July. He added that the Navy made the discovery through an underwater survey after the vessels left Rosal Reef.
Wala na natira eh. We suspect that somebody is harvesting our corals, and that means that they are violating our sovereign rights. Tayo lang ang may karapatan sa resources sa West Philippine Sea.
For his part, AFP spokesperson Colonel Medel Aguilar said the action threatens the country's food security. Westcom had also spotted at least 30 Chinese fishing vessels in Iroquois Reef, Sabina Shoal, and Nares Bank last week. Now, these areas are part of the country's exclusive economic zone in the West Philippine Sea.
If they are really indeed into coral harvesting, that will be affecting the production of fish. That is a threat to food security later on. Hindi lang naman sa atin yan. Sa buong mundo yan.
The Philippines and the United States want to expand the projects under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA. In a meeting on Thursday, AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner Jr. and the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command Commander Admiral John Aquilino said the two nations have agreed to add about 63 more on top of the 32 projects under the agreement. The two officials earlier lauded the progress of the projects during their visit to EDCA sites on September 13. So far, there are 9 sites identified under EDCA located in Cagayan, Isabela, Palawan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Cebu, and Cagayan de Oro. Meanwhile, an expert says the government should consider going south should plans to put up additional EDCA sites push through. International Development and Security Cooperation President Chester Cabalza told The Big Story that additional EDCA sites in Visayas and Mindanao will help cover territorial interests in the area. He added that installing military bases in Luzon will only put the country at risk of further aggression from China.
Remember, you have 2 in Cagayan, and ang patama nila doon is because of Taiwan. So to have a fair and balanced perspective and to de-escalate the political and geopolitical bias on it, we should also bring it down to Visayas and Mindanao para hindi nila isipin na, kami ang pinapatamaan nyo eh. Because we have also issues with our southern corridor, with our maritime neighbors in Malaysia and Indonesia. And at the end of the day,
Cabalza also believes it's a good move for the Senate to invite the Chinese academics to get their insights on maritime zones. The Senate has formed a special committee that will draft a Philippine map, which will include territories in the disputed waters.
We also have American academics coming over, and this is the first time that any think tank will hold representatives, academics coming from the US, China, and Southeast Asia. So the mere fact that the Senate and our government is inviting the Chinese academics, that means that we are fair. Tama lang yun.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Agriculture Groups says the government does not need to import most of the country's supply of rice. In a press conference, the groups says only 10% of the supply needs to be imported, noting that this will be sufficient until next year. They added that the price cap on rice can also be lifted by end September as the harvest season begins. However, they can only bring down prices to at least 43 pesos.
Importante na hindi malugi yung magsasaka kaysa ibabagsak natin yung presyo ng palay na in which hindi magtatanim ang ating mga magsasaka. So, importante yun, fair sa magsasaka, fair sa miller, fair sa wholesaler and retailer. Ang presyo na between 43 to 44.
Meanwhile, they call on the resignations of Finance Secretary Benjamin Jokno and Socio-Economic Planning Chief Arsenio Balisacan. This is amid the proposal to reduce tariff rates on rice imports, which they said only benefits importers.
Magkaanihan na hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas, pati sa Vietnam at Thailand, bababa na talaga for a while. Hindi po pwedeng pataanin mo muna yung anihan, pakitain mo muna yung mga magsasaka. Hindi ba pwede yun? Bakit nagmamadali na ibalik yung kita ng mga importer? Itong pagbabawas ng taripa o special importation, ginawa nung hindi anihan.
The report tagging the Philippines as the world's top rice importer is no cause for concern. That's according to the Agriculture Department's Bureau of Plant Industry. The U.S. Department of Agriculture projected that the Philippines will import some 3.8 million metric tons of rice from 2023 to 2024, overtaking China, which is keen to import, or seen rather, to import only about 3.5 million metric tons. Bureau of Plant Industry Director Glenn Panganiban stressed that this figure is only an assumption and that there is no need to be worried since there are still locally produced rice available. He said it's possible China is only ramping up their local supply of the staple, resulting in lower import volumes. DA Undersecretary Leocadio Sebastian earlier said the country will import less than the USDA's forecast, although he did not specify just how much. Meanwhile, motorists may see another increase in the prices of fuel products next week. Unioil projects that prices of diesel would go up by up to 2 pesos and 40 centavos per liter. Gasoline products would likewise become more expensive by nearly 2 pesos. Oil companies will announce final price adjustments on Monday, which will take effect the next day. Now, if the hike pushes through, it will be the 11th straight week of oil price hikes. And those are the top stories of the hour. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.